Hey guys, it's Ultra Prime 2 here. Welcome to the Fairy Tale Wiki podcast. It's been a while and we're back. Welcome. Joining me today is Wrath. Wrath, go for it.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. And unfortunately, Kuro could not be here today, so we have his replacement. Say hello to Fleet.
What's up?
Okay, so let's get right into it. Fleet, since you're the replacement, would you care to give us your opinion on the latest Fairy Tale chapter?
On the chapter? To be honest, I liked how it went because, first of all, like the first half I've ignored, but I'm mostly focused on the second part where it wrapped up the fight. I've noticed Mashima has kind of, even though he's finishing these fights quickly, he's picked up his game in a bit. Like, back in the Grand Magic Games arc, you know, like how all these random friendship power-ups and all this bullshit stuff. Some of this stuff now actually makes sense, like Lucy sacrificing Aquarius, or the carbon in the water making Gajiel's iron into steel. That, he's starting to make sense now, even though I think the fight was still a little too rushed after his power-up. As for the whole air thing, I think it just shows what Levi really wanted, as if we all didn't know. But also, I didn't like the flashback to Gajiel talking to the council member just because that came out of nowhere. So, it was more of a meta chapter for me.
Okay. Rat, how about you?
Alright, I actually kind of really enjoyed it. One thing I have to point out is I don't understand why people keep calling this, like, Nakama power. Obviously, what I basically think is they're just using that label to just give them, like, a clear justification as to why they dislike something. But it's just as equally acceptable to just say something didn't sit right with you or you just didn't like it, but whatever. In the past, we've seen a lot of Nakama power, which I guess is where it's coming from, but this wasn't. But I guess I'll get into that towards the end of what I have to say. Levi was really cute. That's really all it was. She was really cute because it shows that she was focused on saving her comrade, that she didn't have time to think. So it's like, you know, she sees her friend in trouble. The first instinct is to just go help him. She's not going to think that, oh, wait, I can just make something with air. Her first thing is going to be, oh, I have to go help him right now. So that's what she did. So, you know, then she gives everyone air, which is really nice. And then after this, Gajiel kind of put Torafusa on edge, which is really nice because so far this has been like a blow-for-blow battle. And Mishima has had a history of making his battles really, really short. So the fact that this one wrapped up this chapter didn't really bug me at all. I actually thought it was nice after basically a total ass-kicking. But what I thought was really cool was that Torafusa can change the hardness of his body. He can basically change its chemical composition. So that was convenient, but really nice. The Gajiel-Belno relationship I thought was also pretty cool because, well, we've had basically no insight into Gajiel's past. Not at all. So even if it's like just before we met him, it fleshes out his character and gives a clear comparison as to what he was then as to what he is now. And then there's the sort of chemistry with the iron and the carbon making the steel, which makes me wonder what Torafusa's body was actually made out of, because it looked like diamonds, but it clearly wasn't, because diamonds have a hardness of 10, and steel has, I don't know, steel is harder than glass, which is 7, but that's whatever. Basically, it was just a straight up good battle altogether. Gajiel took Torafusa by surprise, then beat him. Clear cut. I thought this was a solid 9 out of 10. It was very clear, concise, fleshed out a character, ended a battle on a good note. Everything was pretty justified and well-rounded.
That's fair. Fleet, you didn't give a rating, though. Do you have one?
Yeah, it was like a 7 out of 10 for me.
That's good. Damn, Wrath, your chair sucks.
I know. It's like that one bed that no one wants to have sex on.
Huh. Have you?
In my chair?
Or the bed?
Oh, my bed? Yeah, my bed's actually just as squeaky. That's why I said that.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, my opinion of the chapter, I agree with you about the Nakama thing. This is not Nakama power. It's science power. It's science. This is
Yay.
Bill Nye the Science Guy would be proud. Let's be honest.
No.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't really have a problem with the battle. I mean, is it over yet? No. I mean, it probably is over, but I kind of just wish it wasn't. I kind of wanted to see it go on a little bit longer. But yeah, it's pretty much over. I agree with Fleet though about the whole backstory thing. I definitely think this was rushed. I mean, he just randomly brings he brings the Magic Council woman back into the picture. Right now, what is the purpose of this? We're just seeing what he was like, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference right now, and it won't really make a big difference in the long run. I mean, with the thing about Rogue, when he was his disciple or blood brother or whatever, that's at least something that will make a reappearance somewhere in the future. This will not.
That's something that actually just in general needs to be explained because it's like, what?
Yeah, I know. I mean, my opinion is my personal idea is that Rogue left the place after a while or something, but
I think he was just a little stalker boy who, after Phantom Lord disbanded, he kind of just did his own little thing.
I figure he left before Phantom Lord disbanded, and for whatever unknown reason. But if he was close enough to Gajio to use a term like blood brother or whatever it was, disciple, then I think it wasn't just like some kind of stalker thing. I definitely think there was something that kept the two of them together at least for a little while. But this Magic Council thing, I don't understand at all. I don't see it's not like she literally did anything. It's just words, to be perfectly honest. And
yeah, but I guess it was sort of like, it was made apparent that it wasn't their first time. It wasn't her first time saying those words.
Simultaneously, it's not the first time saying the words, but it's just words. We don't really see much else. And then he's crying up on the rooftop. I mean,
I think the crying. The crying was a bit excessive.
That was excessive. It doesn't suit the guy's character. This is not his character. I mean, with Laxus, he's a tough guy, but simultaneously, it's his family, it's his grandfather. This is just a woman he's met a handful of times. I mean, okay, maybe he's met her a lot, but I don't think the relationship was developed enough to really justify tears from this character. Sorry.
That's fair.
Yeah. Otherwise, the battle was acceptable. The relationship definitely could have been developed a lot more. If this had been stretched out over like 2 chapters, to be honest, I would have been satisfied. But since it does feel a little bit rushed on both ends, I'm going to go and say 6.5 out of 10 as my rating.
I think that flashback would have been more appropriate in the chapter that showed them all investigating each of the council members' houses.
If not a flashback at that point, at least he would have gone into a little bit more detail about why he was angry that this particular counselor was dead. Like, either way.
Honestly,
or maybe
I think the flashback was more appropriate here. The flashback was more appropriate here. I'm not saying that it was like. I thought it was nice, but I didn't think it was like 100% appropriate. But it was more appropriate here than it would have been there, because there it would have just been completely out of nowhere.
No, that's
true. We would have forgotten about it at this point, because that was 30 chapters ago.
I wouldn't have approved of like the flashback then, but if there had been some foreshadowing of the relationship, that would have been much more appropriate, in my opinion.
Yeah, because damn it isn't really a foreshadowing.
Exactly. Okay, does anyone have a prediction?
No, I don't. Everyone's down and out. Natsu's poisoned, so he can't fight Natsu.
He's gonna fight him. My theory was that Cobra or an Aresian says, because Wendy's probably too far to heal them from the poison.
They're all really
so something that's like really Cobra could arrive and
suck out the poison.
Get the poison from them. Yeah,
that would be interesting. It turns into like a poison vampire or something.
I think
sucking on all the girls to get the poison out of their bodies.
I mean, that's cute.
That's hilarious.
Moderately sexy and pretty funny, but I don't think after trying to make Jalal trying to make everyone get together, he would just send them all off on individual missions.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's really. I know, but I'm talking like I think that's really counterproductive.
Yeah, it is.
Like he's trying to get a collective group. He wouldn't just get them together and then tell them to go off and do their own thing, because then they'll just fuck off. Like,
they ever show where Laxus and the Raijin Shu went when Kana got everyone out of the guild.
Yeah,
no, the question is where are they now that Cube blew up?
Good point. There was this one part about, like, when Alegria was happening, somebody was like, go protect Laxus and his group, but then we never saw them again after that.
Although the real thing is what kind of bugs me is it says the final one-on-one, so Gajil's probably going to try and fight Tempesta, and then he's just going to get overwhelmed because he's tired. So, I don't have any idea, but I don't really have
either, to be honest. I got nothing.
It's going to be a surprise. The last couple chapters have been just a complete, like, surprise to what's going to happen next. I honestly can't predict it.
I haven't really predicted much either, to be honest.
It's because half me doesn't want to, half me just thinks it's pointless because everything's just so abstract and you can't really, everything's basically as wild as the next. And that's what I kind of like, is that I can't tell what's going to happen. So I go in with a totally fresh, I might hate it, I might not, which is alright for me.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah. I got nothing. Fleet?
I'm done.
Like I said, that Cobra thing is the only thing I could predict, or if Laxus healed up, but I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is either.
I don't know how he would.
No, it's not, this isn't the place, it hasn't been quite long enough.
And poor Lucica can't use magic, so he would have to, like, physically heal.
Yeah. And there's nobody there who could do that.
No.
So, let's get on to the weekly rankings, people. Fleet, your go.
Personally, I liked One Piece the best these last 2 weeks. Not so much that first chapter, but the second chapter, because it's no secret I have an intense dislike for Usopp. But I felt that this chapter really did redeem him, plus it is setting the stage for the possible final fight of this arc. But I honestly don't know where the battle's going to go, because at first I thought it was going to be Doflamingo versus the two of them, and they would have a chance. But now we have Treble added to the mix, and like the Wiki of One Piece says, he is a Legia. So that with Zoro is gone, Sanji is God knows where, Luffy and Law are the only ones that would be able to hurt him in such a case. If this turns into 2v2 and Law is already injured, I don't really see them on winning. Next would actually be Bleach, because the whole Mayuri thing in the first chapter, where he was like drugging up Toshiro, and at first when I was reading this chapter, I thought that there was something wrong with the translations, because it kept on repeating the same scene. But it just turns out that he fucked him up. And then, in the recent chapter, he's torturing him and shit. I have no idea what the fuck was going on in the second half of the Bleach chapter. Third, I'll give it to Fairy Tail, just because it was more entertaining than the other two. Toriko, fourth, it was kind of boring. Just them preparing air. And in the last chapter, a new Horse King is born. But I think it wrapped up good, the fight between Toriko and the Horse King, because it would have either ended in Toriko dying, or Toriko running away. And then last...
No, it would have dying. He doesn't run away.
Yeah, so he would have died.
And that would have ended the story.
Yep. And then last Naruto, I just think it was, in general, boring. Kaguya, she didn't really matter. Like, she was taken out that easily. She had virtually no impact except for the infinite Tsukuyomi. And I think this is all just rushed. To be honest, it wasn't a good fight.
Yeah, I'll give you the fight with Saki.
And that's how I would rank them.
That's fair. Wrath, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Number one. I'm going to give Bleach number one, because it was really trippy, and it was really nice to read. You know, the whole loop thing, and then I'll give it that it's kind of like an Izanami ripoff, more or less. That's the only way to really describe it. That whole point of, you know, it goes to that one point that you desire to have happen, and if it happens and you don't learn your lesson and you don't do it, then it's just going to keep repeating. that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. And then Bleach, he gives him the drug. It looks like he got put in that same shadow that the Vandenrake use. So, because Mayuri learned how it works, and I'd imagine he found a way to use it for the Shinigami. So I'd imagine that's kind of what that is. And I think Giselle, the three captains, the two captains in Matsumoto, Kensei and Rose, I think they are actually all dead, and they're not the same kind of zombies. Because, Kensei and Rose were confirmed to have died.
No, that was just Grammy saying it.
No, whatever he imagined is real. It really happened. They really died. His whole power is whatever he imagines happens. Although,
it's only supposed to affect one thing at a time, which is
true. Matsumoto, wasn't her throat slashed or something?
Yeah, it was.
She was. Yeah, Kandu. He kind of fucked her up. I think those three are actually dead because it's just whatever.
It's something we'll find out later. Yeah.
If they are dead, okay. But if they're not, okay.
Yeah.
Number two.
Yeah.
You just yeah.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm going to give to Fairy Tail for reasons we've discussed. Number 3, I'm going to give to One Piece. It was just nice all around. Daddy comes in to help daughter. Now there's a 2-way fight. The Usopp with sugar thing was really funny. I laughed. I'm not going to lie. It was hilarious. It made me smile. And after a day of working shitty job, smiling is nice. Number 4, I'm going to give to Toriko, mostly for the same reasons as Fleet. Number 5, I'm going to give to Naruto because the whole thing was shitty. The whole battle was shitty. It was pointless. It came out of nowhere. I like that it's over, and all I have to say is, yay God, because now Naruto's ending. And it's long overdue. Don't get me wrong, I like Naruto, but it's dragged on for far too long.
It just needs closure now.
We've been in the same 4 days for 3.5 to 4 years, okay? This has been the same in 8-minute... Naruto, for instance, Naruto's transformation into the Kyuubi Chakra mode, his Bijou mode,
yeah, that
went on for 20 chapters, was apparently only 8 minutes. There's a good idea of the horrible pacing. So, that's all I've got to say.
How many chapters do you think's left, actually?
Honestly, I want to say he'll end it at a solid 700, because that would actually be really cool.
That would be pretty cool. And then there's the movie to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the movie is going to be the definitive conclusion to everything.
They said it was, actually.
It was in the future. Yeah. They released future drawings of Sai and Sakura.
Okay, good.
That's legitimate.
Yeah.
Right, and yay. Number 1, I have to give it to Toriko. I didn't find it boring. I thought it was awesome, and it says a lot when the preparation of food is more intense and on a larger scale than the battle that's basically deciding the fate of a city and whatnot. So, I really liked it. And I just really liked seeing everybody, work together to help Komatsu, with Toriko doing his thing, trying to hold off the Horse King. Sorry. Anyways, number 2, I'll edit that out.
Save it for the bloopers reel.
Yeah, I'm not telling you people my real name. Sorry. Anyways, number 2, I would probably give One Piece. One Piece was pretty good too. I just didn't really like how Rebecca just started crying. I mean, yeah, okay, this guy traumatized her in her childhood, but that's what manga is for. It's about development. You can overcome your problems, right? So, I mean, maybe she still will. Maybe she still will. I don't know. I can't say that she won't, but I'm kind of upset that, her father came in to save her. Not that I don't like her father, but, oh well, whatever. Number 3, Fairy Tail. Yeah, Fairy Tail number 3. Just because, it's kind of bad paced, but there's nothing worse than that. Number 4, Naruto. Naruto was just really, really boring. I mean, this is the final battle, and it basically ended in a 3-pronged attack, which is not really interesting, to be perfectly honest. And number 5 is Bleach, just because Bleach ripped off Naruto basically with the full. I cut points for plagiarism, and this is. I'm not okay. I don't want to use the word.
It would probably have been better if they explained how it worked instead of just making us wonder if it works like Izanami or not.
Did they really think nobody would make this comparison? Did they
Actually,
what?
I was reading reviews online, and they said that Naruto and Bleach ripped this off from something else.
No, I mean, I actually do remember something similar in Yu Yu Hakusho. Kurama had a plant that could basically do this, more or less.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, it's the description Mayuri gave it basically is Izanami to a large extent, minus the whole.
I'm cool with the effects being the same, but the implementation has to at least be unique in some way. Kurama's plant was plants are drugs. Kurama basically used a drug.
Yeah, and this is his established power. When has Mayuri ever really used illusion power? He's all about the paralysis, the physical pain, and whatnot. This is just weird. Yeah. Now he's becoming some kind of psychological Hannibal Soul Reaper type thing, which is weird.
Yeah, it's messed up. Next thing you know, he's going to start eating brain.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's already had one, to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
How many tests he's performed on himself?
Probably a lot. Yeah, so I actually think that would be the end of my rankings. Toriko, One Piece, Fairy Tail, Naruto, and Bleach after that. So, I think that's the end. So, people, this is the end of the first half of the podcast. We will see you in the next half with the questions you guys sent via Skype this week due to some email issues. So, goodbye.